Welcome to the Circle of Life presentation um, this Thursday. At the Circle of Life Coalition, we envision an informed community open to honest conversations about life and death, one in which we inspire each other to live life fully while acknowledging the inevitability of death, and where choices for end-of-life care are effectively communicated, documented, respected, and honored. And along with that, we want to make sure everyone has the tools necessary to live the best quality of life that they wish for themselves. And today's presentation helps with that because certainly fraud and scams can impact your quality of life greatly. We have with us today two fabulous folks from our community. Detective Pamela Mathias is with the Berks County DA's office. She's been there since 2014. Prior to that, she was Berks Lehigh Regional Police Department, Upper Macungie Township Police Department from 2001. Before that, she provides presentations to various senior groups throughout Berks County about fraud scams and senior abuse. She works with the Berks County Area on Aging involving crimes against seniors and has a passion for protecting the seniors of Berks County through educational presentations so that seniors have the knowledge to recognize the signs and take the appropriate measures to avoid becoming a victim. And good for family also. And then our second fabulous person is Sergeant Matthew Blatt, who has been with the Cumru Township Police Department since 2017, being promoted to sergeant in January of this year. Prior to that, he was with Penn State Police Department Berks Campus, Summit Hill Borough Police Department, and worked as a Pennsylvania DCNR Ranger starting in 2011. During this time, he took numerous complaints from victims in various scams, and it's his goal in presenting this information to help educate the viewers on how to avoid becoming a victim of one of these scams. Just definitely getting more and more sophisticated, and we look forward to this. And without further ado, thank you. Take it away.
Thank you. So this morning we're going to talk about scams affecting the elderly community. We're going to go over 4 different categories of scams. The first one being imposter scams, followed by home improvement scams, then phishing scams, and then AI voice cloning scams. So I want to start off with imposter scams. There's different areas of this category. They include grandparent scams, romance scams, debt collector, utility company, IRS, Social Security, lottery scams, Medicare, Department of Motor Vehicles, charities, and package delivery scams. One example of this is going to be the grandparent scam. My grandmother actually received one of these phone calls from an unknown person saying that they were a grandson. My grandmother has 4 grandchildren and only 1 grandson. The person on the other line told them that addressed her as grandma and told her that they had just been arrested and they need her help getting out of jail. My grandmother didn't recognize the phone number and she was able to determine that it was a scam and hung up, which is the best thing to do with this. So for these scams, they start off with an unsolicited call, text, or email. The person on the other line will make this message seem urgent and they demand immediate attention or action. The imposter could bear good news that you won money or bad news that you have an overdue bill, or you might have a warrant for your arrest, or you didn't pay a parking ticket. The person on the other line might even threaten you with scare tactics. With these, I took a call from a couple who received it. Female received a call saying that she was going to be deported on Monday. This call was received on Friday. The way to avoid this was not tell her husband, and she had to go out and buy gift cards and also Bitcoin to help pay off the fees so that way she could avoid deportation. This scam went on for the entire weekend. On Saturday, she didn't tell her husband this, but her husband received a phone call from another person in this agency saying that his wife was going to be deported. Throughout the weekend, they didn't communicate with each other and were both on the line with different people and went to various stores throughout the area and lost over $50,000 in a 3-day period. For these scams, they ask for payment through gift card, wire transfers, or cash. The reason they do this is because once you give the funds off the gift card, that money's gone for good. So you want to avoid any type of payment. Agencies that are legitimate don't take payment through gift cards, wires, or cash. They want it through check or another form or payment. Another part of this is relationship scams. Through these, the suspect takes their time building a relationship with the victim in order to make them feel a connection. One of our complaints we had was the gentleman had a relationship with what he thought was a younger female. This went on for months where the person was talking to the gentleman. They continued their relationship, and then when it came time for them to actually meet in person, the suspect developed car issues. They were arrested, and all they needed was money from the mail. The reason they were doing this is they never intended to meet the male in person, but this was their way to get money because the male was invested in their relationship. So he went and spent thousands of dollars to try to avoid her staying in jail and getting her car fixed. How to protect yourself with these kinds of scams. The best way is to hang up and do not respond to any solicited calls, texts. I know the way I try to avoid it is if I see an unknown number calling me, even though it looks like a local area code, I just let that call go to voicemail. You never want to provide personal or sensitive information to an unsolicited call, text, or email. You never want to send it in the mail or give money to a person posing as a courier. No legitimate company will ever ask for payment via gift card, and gift cards should only be purchased as a gift. I know our local businesses were given flyers about gift cards to post with their gift card section. The way these calls and scams work is they get the person on the line, and if they start playing into what story they're giving them, they'll make them go to the local store and buy gift cards without disconnecting the call. The reason you want to disconnect the call is if you're receiving a call from your grandson or grandchild or somebody else that you may know, call their phone number directly and verify their story. If you can't get in contact with them, call their parent, call somebody else who's a friend to see if they can confirm what's being told to you. I know from our experience is if you get a phone call from that number, and the police will try calling that number back. And as soon as the person on the other end realizes it's police, they'll become rude and start swearing and disconnect the call. So if you take that and you try to call the people you know, they'll probably become rude with you, but that's your first sign that this may be a scam. You also don't want to rely on caller IDs. Numbers can be spoofed. My grandmother actually received a phone call from a person who wasn't a scammer, but they were calling her because they thought she was one trying to get money from them. The reason it came up as her number was with technology nowadays, these scammers can spoof any number and they try to get area codes that match the local area from the victim they're trying to contact. So make sure you call that number because you want to call the person you know at the number you know, again, to make sure that it's the actual person asking for help. Do confirm before making any decisions and do make sure you report this to the police. Like I said, we can keep track of the numbers that are being used. If it is the same number and it's not being spoofed, it would help in the investigation in the event money is lost. The next category that I want to talk about is the home improvement, distraction thefts, and utility company scams. These can come in the form of roofing company, driveway seal coating repair, package delivery, survey, pest control, utility or service providers, tree service, and general contractors. Myself and the detective were talking earlier because one of our detectives is investigating a driveway seal coating scam that just took place in which the victim lost $15,000. The signs that I'm going to go over were present in the email that that detective put out. So warning signs of these kinds of scams are, again, they're unscheduled or unsolicited visits. There might be threats to cut off service and demands of payment. You might receive leftover product at a cheap price, and they might only be in the area for one day, or it might be a special deal. So the victim I'm talking about with the driveway seal coating, they received an unscheduled, unsolicited visit from a contractor that said they had leftover material and they could give them a cheap price. The price they gave them was $7 a square foot, and for their driveway, it would cost them $15,000. They went into the deal, and four workers performed work, but it was not up to the standard that a legitimate driveway sealer would be performing. Another part of this, another warning sign would be, this is so-and-so and I have a package for you and I cannot find your address, and can you give it to me so I can verify? My biggest thing is when I receive emails, I might look from UPS or USPS, and all it is a phishing scam like the detective will go into. With these kind of scams, my biggest thing is go back to your initial email if you purchase something online and make sure you go through that link in that email to check on the status of your shipment. Every email now from people you're purchasing from, they'll send out a confirmation email with the tracking number. You want to use that instead of a generic email from something that looks to be like UPS or USPS. So how to protect yourself with these kinds of scams? First, you want to verify the company that they claim to be and who they work for, not any phone numbers that they provide. Like I went over with imposter scams, it's easy to spoof numbers. And with internet nowadays, you can do a Google search on these companies, and if people had bad experience or were able to determine that they were scam businesses, you're able to verify that almost immediately. You never want to allow anyone into your home. Also, you never want to allow someone to convince you to come outside and look at something. With these home improvement scams, they're usually working as a pair where they'll come and get you to look at something to the rear of your home, and one of their associates will go through the front door and steal stuff out of your home while you're distracted outside. So the biggest thing is talk to these people through the storm door, and if they start becoming angry and start becoming threatening, close and lock the door in their face and call the police immediately. You don't want to let an ID or badge fool you. Anyone can fake an ID, just like the phone numbers. So the biggest thing with these two is you might feel like you're being rude to the person, but just remember that that person is trying to steal your money, your savings. So be rude. If it turns out there that it was legitimate, they won't take any offense because the legitimate companies are aware of these different kinds of scams. I'll pass that on to you now for the next two.
All right. The next slide we're going to talk about is AI voice cloning scams, which can incorporate grandparent scams, celebrity scams, kidnapping scams, and Google Voice scams. But the first thing we need to talk about is we need to make sure that everyone knows what AI is, because this is very new. Not only new to the public, but new to even the police departments. We're always a step behind. So AI is the term used for artificial intelligence. And the simplest way to explain this is, think of a computer. We're taking a computer, we're creating a program, we're feeding the computer the data, and the computer processes systems that act and speak like a human being. So AI speech recognition is being used in these grandparent scams, these celebrity scams, and kidnapping scams. All the fraudsters need is a little 3 to 10 second clip, audio clip, of a person's voice to carry out voice cloning. And they can find this on various social media sites that family might have. And they can also obtain that 3 to 10 second voice from you from a simple phone call. So the recording is very realistic. It's a very realistic clone of the person's voice. So let's start with the warning signs. So first of all, you're going to maybe get an unsolicited or urgent emergency call from a family or friend. Basically, I'm in trouble, I was arrested, I need money to get out of jail, bail money, anything like that. And it sounds like your grandchild, or it could be even a friend. And it really sounds like them. And all of a sudden, you know, us as the family member want to help them. Don't be fooled by it sounding like your grandchild, because that voice is used to fool and trick grandparents into believing it's their grandchild on the other end of the phone because it sounds like them. Again, verify. So scammers also use AI to create unauthorized use of celebrities' image and voice to create misleading ads for fake dental plans, for dubious weight loss solutions, and other product promotions. The ads look real and believable. So you might get, if you're scanning the internet, you might get these celebrity endorsements or their point of view, whether it's political or it could be point of view on a product. Don't necessarily take it as a legit ad. Do your research. And so you'll also get warning signs like threats that you'll be put in jail. Again, it could be because of a parking ticket. A lot of times they'll demand immediate payment. Nobody demands immediate payment over the phone. You're going to be told you need to maybe make a payment to your bill, but nobody's going to demand anything and become rude. So Google Voice Codes is a way that scammers reach out to you through text and requests a verification code, where they will send you, the scammers target people who post things for sale on sites like Craigslist or Facebook or Marketplace. They also prey on people who post looking for help to find their lost pet. Again, this actually happened to my husband, where he had something posted on Craigslist and somebody sent him a text message saying, I don't know if you're a scammer, so I'm going to send you a verification code and you need to send it back to me. And obviously he knew this was a scam and just erased it. So be aware of that. So they'll send that through text. So some of the warning signs are, again, unscheduled or emergency calls from family or friend. You might get a call, I've kidnapped, and they'll have your grandchild's name. Do not call the police and you need to send me money. Just hang up on them, verify with your family. Even images, unfortunately, of the current wars going on overseas, many are AI generated. Again, don't believe everything you see. And for the verification, Google Voice Codes, just ignore them. So those are the key warning signs, which is on the next slide, are, can we switch to the next slide? Okay, opt out for non-voice authentication codes. I can't even say the word. Stop and verify when you get those urgent calls that somebody's hurt, injured, send me money. Stop, think about it, verify with your family and friends that this is a true emergency. Don't go by what the person is saying on the other end. Have a code word with your family that only your family members know. For example, if somebody would call you and say, Grandma, I've been in an accident and I need you to send money. You say, well, what's the code word that we use? And they could say, I forgot what the code word is. I hit my head, I forgot what the code word is. Well, sorry, you don't have the code word. you don't get the money and you just hang up on them. And then again, call their number or call their parents and verify that they actually weren't in an accident. Never send money in the mail. I can't urge you enough never to send cash in the mail. Never use gift cards for any kind of payments. So when these calls come in that sound like your family members, stop, stay calm, think about what they're telling you. And if they ever tell you to keep secrets, that's a no-no. Those are the top keywords for that. All right. So we can go to the next one, which is phishing, smishing, and vishing. I know these are odd terms, but they all have to do with scams. So you'll get these phishing, smishing, and vishing type scams through email links, text messages, messaging app links, and phone call voicemails. So just like AI, just like the term AI, there's warning signs on how to protect yourself from this. The next, we'll wait for the next one. There we go. We want to talk about what the differences are, all right? And really, you don't need to memorize these, just be aware of them. It doesn't matter if you interchange any of the words. You know, you could call phishing, smishing, it doesn't matter. Just know what you're looking for. So phishing is one of the most common forms of fraud, where the scammers use a seemingly real email address with a link that urges you to input information like your full name, social security number, and credit card number. So again, this is the most common form that you'll get through your emails. I get probably 20 to 30 a day between my work email and my home email. And they're very easy to pick out once you learn this stuff. So smishing, it uses your phone and text you messages or common message apps to contact you. And it'll give you a link or a website URL where it will ask for your personal or banking information. And again, you don't want to be clicking on those links. And then vishing gains your personal information through the basic cell phone call or a voicemail that'll prompt you to expose private information. So the warning signs for this is some of these terms that we have up here on the board are click the link to avoid late fees. Of course, you don't want to click on that. Don't rely on your caller ID because, again, those numbers can be spoofed. You might see on your text message, your card will be charged X amount of money for your last order, and it actually gives you a fake order number. You need to contact customer care immediately. Or you might see, we have issues with your shipping address. Please click here to resolve this. One of the big ones is maybe let's just use like Facebook, all right? A lot of people do Facebook. Your Facebook account has been disabled, and then it'll give you a reason why. Press this here to take care of this. You don't want to do that. That's just their way to get to you, get into your phone or into your email. And then this one here, verify your wallet. This is a notice that refers to cryptocurrency scams. Now, just to touch on cryptocurrency, if you do not use cryptocurrency, then you should not be doing anything with cryptocurrency. Even the most educated people that do understand cryptocurrency have been scammed out of millions of dollars. So those types of scams, when they try to get you to pay by cryptocurrency, they will tell you, they'll walk you through it. Oh, we'll take you through it. And they physically walk you through it where they have you drive to a cryptocurrency ATM machine and walk you through the process of putting money into this cryptocurrency machine, and then they remove it. And if you don't understand it, you shouldn't be doing it. And number two, again, even the most educated people fall for this. So again, nothing should be paid by crypto. Excuse me. Another one is interested in buying. I want to verify you're a real person. So they'll send you a code. Don't push on it. So ways to protect yourself. Excuse me, I have a cold. Do not go into panic mode. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Do not go into panic mode. Stop and verify using another form. You're going to have to take over. I don't have any more.
Okay. So you don't want to respond to unsolicited rewards. With that, you might get the email or phone call that you received a big prize money. You might have won $1 million, but in order to hold this prize, you need to send money. If you need to give them a certain amount of money. If you win a prize, you shouldn't have to pay anything to hold that. You either won it or you didn't. Do not respond to requests for verifications of account information. So look for the signs of urgency, warnings, threats, consequences if you don't immediately take action. Again, back to that rewards one. If you want a reward and they give you a certain time period to pay them through gift cards, cash, or cryptocurrency, that's a red flag for you, so you don't want to fall for that. Contact a trusted friend or family member, even the police, if you need a second opinion. You're emotionally involved right now because everybody's going to be excited if they receive that phone call that they won a large amount of money. Call somebody that's not involved, tell them what's going on, and hopefully they're the ones that can give a second perspective to avoid from you becoming a victim of scam. And then first off, before action should be, could this be a scam? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's one of the biggest things in all these scams that the people are looking to prey on, is making something sound too good to resist. Next slide here. So here's our contact information. I'm sure members of the coalition can get that out to you if you don't have time to copy it down. If you have any questions for either of us, reach out to us. If you receive calls, contacts by anybody that you think might be a scam, we're more than willing to be that second opinion for you to help prevent you from being a victim. One of the biggest things with these is the gift cards and cryptocurrency. Once you buy a gift card, the banks most likely won't reimburse you. As well as the cryptocurrency, there's no reimbursement because you're voluntarily investing and giving the information and making these purchases. So before you act, again, stop and get that second opinion and verify everything. I think right now we'll open it to questions if anybody has any.
Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate. I will keep up your contact information so folks could copy it down. There was something else that came to mind as you were presenting this wonderful information, but oh gosh, it's been a little bit of time ago. I had a family member who suddenly money was missing from their account, and it was being transferred from their account, and it was specifically their Social Security, to a bank in Florida. The person was extremely embarrassed about this, kept saying they had no idea how this could have happened. And it turned out they had gone to a dating site, posted a picture, somebody cropped it. I learned this by going through history and going through, like someone talked me through how to go through old history and really look at it. And they had cropped a very suggestive picture in the place. And so that elder family member felt they were being blackmailed. Like, we're going to show this to your family. We're going to, they're going to know how awful you are. And they actually had started transferring the monies. Of course, I shouldn't say of course, but at that time, the law enforcement authorities couldn't find exactly where it was coming from because yeah, it went to that bank, but it immediately bounced all over the world to some other bank account. So I feel like that's something to be aware of, especially if the person's like, I don't know. Just ask the trusted person of the law enforcement authority how to look in the history just to see if something unusual like that had occurred. But then of course my relative did not get any money back. They actually had done it, even though they were being blackmailed. There was no way to go after these people and so forth. So just it was a scary, terrible time.
No, I definitely think that's another thing that the scammers prey on is embarrassment, especially with the relationship scams. Is they try to separate you, the victim, from their family. And I know we were talking earlier about how the they separate them from, because then the victim will go, well, you just don't think a younger person will be interested in me, and then they start keeping separated, and that just gives the scammer more leverage and power over the person, because now the only person that that victim will listen to is the scammer, and that's where it turns into the relationship building, leading to now I need money, or in this case, the cropped image where, or they might not even have anything, but who knows what might have been sent over the course of that relationship, that it will turn into a blackmail, and the embarrassment will keep that person and to keep sending money.
Right, right. And they never want to tell their family that, that's for sure. A question that someone posted is how often are arrests made in scams?
Unfortunately, with a majority of these scams, they're happening overseas. The suspect is overseas, and like in the case you brought up, it might go to a bank in Florida, but it's immediately transferred throughout the world. I know, depending on the home improvement scams are easier because most of the time those people are local, or at least in the US. Once you get into these AI and gift card scams, that money's going overseas, and it makes it difficult to prosecute because uh, even going up to the FBI, they don't have jurisdiction to make arrests overseas. And then when you lose that money, the restitution is going to take, most likely you're never going to get anything back, because if they do make an arrest, the countries where these people are committing the crimes in, they don't have anything to pay back. So people are losing thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars in a couple days, and the people that are taking the money, that money's gone immediately, and they're never going to be able to pay that back.
Yeah, that's really a shame. Is there anything in the works to, I don't know what the right way to ask the question is really to make sure that there's a cooperation or to try and tighten down so that they're not getting away with this, like a global cooperation for scamming legislation happening with who or anywhere?
I don't know about a legislation. I know all the law enforcement agencies work together. That includes Secret Service, FBI, your local law enforcement agencies. We're doing our best in our own divisions to, first of all, stop it before it even starts, and then once we have these victims, to follow the trail as far as we can. Obviously, the district attorney's office is not going to send me overseas to seek out an individual who scammed maybe a senior for $7,000. That's a lot of money to that senior who lives on a limited income. However, they're not going to send me overseas to find that suspect that took that money. I might be able to follow the trail, but I can only go so far. Where you have the other larger agencies, they do have individuals over in those countries, but I can't speak for their limitations on what they can do and what they can't do. I just know that it's a fight that all the agencies are trying to get on top of. The scammers are always one step ahead of us. Unfortunately, we are always one step behind, where we're playing catch up with the next scam that they come up with. As far as how many arrests we have, believe it or not, there are some local scammers that do these romance scams. But again, the majority are overseas, and we do what we can.
Right. Yeah, it's daunting. There's a comment that someone indicated you don't need to be elderly, and that's so true. You can get caught off guard. Like not that long ago, I was answering my phone in my car, blue car, hands-free, not distracted driving, sort of. But I answered it thinking, why am I answering this? And it was someone stating that Amazon calling me to see if I made a $2,500 purchase. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then they asked for my name. And I'm like, wait a minute, you called me. Who were you calling? And that kind of went in a little circle till I hung up, like, but just you're distracted, running your errands, you're in your home even, and you answer the phone, and you just have to pay such close attention. But, also there was your subscription expired, and I have an account. I have Dropbox, and I paid it, and I'm like, oh shoot, lost that money. So I think how many of us in the audience and beyond, one little thing didn't pay attention to and lost some money. Can be very convincing. Oh, so I don't see any other questions or comments, but this is great information and great reminders to just be ever vigilant in people who are trying to scam us out of our money every day.
Mhm.
Any final messages at all, or anything before I just move on a little bit?
Nothing
Just
here.
thank you for the opportunity to provide this information. And I think the biggest thing with this is us trying to get the information out to prevent it from happening, because that's the best way to avoid losses in these types of
Yep.
things.
Keep talking. Don't be embarrassed. Definitely. So thank you very much. You'll be able to see this recording on our website, circleoflifecoalition.org, and our YouTube channel in perpetuity once the editing occurs. I know Gary will try and edit out little coughs and glitches and anything else that might have occurred. And we really, really thank you for being here